Today, you are going to experience a short ethical simulation about a real world problem: how we decide who receives a life saving organ when there isn't enough to go around. The following scenario will put you in the shoes of death, deciding who lives and dies, and it will become even more intense as we imagine AI as being part of the decision process. As you watch, I want you to pay attention to your own instincts. Notice what you feel is fair at first, and then see whether you still feel the same after we apply different ethical perspectives. Welcome, player. In this simulation, you're not just an observer, you're stepping into the role of someone with responsibility, a doctor. The point is to experience how ethical decisions feel when they're not hypothetical, they're tied to real consequences. As we go, I want you to ask yourself, what information matters most to you? Survival chances, social impact, fairness, second chances, and should the answer change depending on the details of the person? Here's the dilemma. You are a doctor in charge of allocating a single life-saving organ. Now, before we meet the candidates, remember, there is no perfect answer here. What we're really testing is the reasoning behind the choice. Candidate A is Maya Jones, age 45, a teacher with an estimated post-transplant survival rate around 60% in this simulation. Maya has taught for years. She's nurtured generations of students, and her job has ripple effects beyond her own life. If you're thinking about community impact, she might feel like the socially meaningful choice. Now you've seen candidate A. Next is candidate B. While we switch, notice what you're already doing mentally. You may be applying a moral weight to this person already. Candidate B is Alex Smith, age 29 with a criminal past. And in this simulation, he is described as serving his sentence, with a predicted survival around 90%. Now we have both candidates. The next step is the decision moment. Here are the options laid out. 1. Let the AI choose. The supposedly unbiased AI would result in you not having the moral weight of making the decision. 2. Choose Alex with the highest survival chance. Or 3. Choose Maya because she benefits many students and people. Now let's slow down and define the ethical frameworks clearly, because this explains why people disagree. Consequentialism means an action is morally right or wrong based on its consequences. So the question becomes, which decision leads to the best overall outcome? Kantian deontology says some actions are right or wrong regardless of outcomes. It focuses on duties, rights, and moral rules, like fairness, equality, and more. Virtue ethics is different. It asks, what would a good person do? It bases its argument around character, virtues like compassion, justice, courage, etc. Now we apply consequentialism to the scenario. Here we consider net societal benefit, and because Maya is a teacher, the argument becomes her survival could impact many students and lives over the years, so Maya may be seen as producing larger societal consequences. Now we are shifting to another type of consequentialism, known as medical utilitarianism. Here, we are trying to maximize net medical benefit, so survival probability matters a lot. In this framework, a person would likely choose Alex because 90% survival suggests the organ is more likely to succeed, producing more life years and fewer wasted organs. Now, what would these frameworks actually do in the moment? A deontologist would say both candidates are morally equal. I cannot rank people by outcomes or personal characteristics. So, what would they do? They would support an impartial rule, like a lottery or a first come basis, because that treats both as equally worthy without discrimination. A virtue ethicist would ask, what choice reflects compassion, fairness, and practical wisdom in this context? They might choose Maya if they see her life as deeply tied to care and responsibility for others. But they also might choose Alex if they emphasize mercy, rehabilitation, and the virtue of giving someone a second chance, especially since he has higher survival odds. Now take a moment to consider the following what if changes to the scenario. What if Alex were serving life in prison? What if Alex was your sibling? What if Maya had an even lower survival chance, but had saved hundreds as a doctor? And the explicit question, should punishment affect access to healthcare? These twists show something important. Our ethical choices often shift depending on proximity, emotion, and identity. If your answer changes when the person becomes your sibling, that reveals how personal bias can enter. If your answer changes when the job changes, that reveals how we implicitly rank professions and contributions. So the deeper question becomes, are our moral judgments stable principles or flexible reactions to context? And if they're flexible, can AI ever make these decisions fairly? Thank you for listening.